Hey guys! So, this is week 22, my meal plan. You can see the meal plan, there were a lot of days where I didn't count my calories, much more than expected. So, if you guys remember, I said in a previous video that on the 23rd and the 24th, I'm not going to count any calories because that was supposed to be like a celebration, and that's why I didn't. Now, on the 24th, I already drank a lot, and as it happens when you get drunk, the next day you don't feel very well. So I didn't eat most of the day, but then in the evening I got really hungry and I was still hungover. And the best cure to get over hangover is to basically just continue drinking or have a little bit of alcohol. So I did have like a Copperberg cider just to get rid of the nausea. But you know, alcohol also makes you hungry. So I was like, hey, there was one place left which wasn't closed on the 25th because everything else was closed. So we like, okay, I was really hungry and I was still hungover as well. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have like a small dinner kebab. So I was over my calories, but still within reason on the 25th. But that one wasn't expected at all, to be quite honest. So on the 26th, I then had a normal day. Didn't eat that much because I wasn't that hungry. And then on the 27th, again, it's always those days where I don't expect stuff to happen. We were celebrating our engagement with some of our friends. We met them and I was like, okay, this is going to be a short visit. Yeah, just going to stay there and then just going to go away again. But you know how that is. It's like, no, you can't. And then like a lot of drinking again and eating very unhealthy. And to be honest, like, I can't really remember everything that I ate and drank. So again, like, just assume it's way over 1,200 calories. So yeah, this week, food-wise, it didn't went that well. So guys, usually this is the section where I would be like, this is me, comparison week 21 to week 22. However, as this is my final video for 2022, I decided to show my process from week 0, which started on the 29th of July 2022, up until now, which ends on the 29th of December 2022, so 5 months. Now, some of the pictures that you will see will show me in a sports bra. Those pictures are not intended to be sexual at all. That's why I kind of like also wear like almost like biking shorts, so you don't really see my thighs or anything, or like any areas that you shouldn't see, and none of the sports bra I actually see through. But one of the pictures, the last picture I'm going to show myself, which I want to show, which is some of the pictures where I was my heaviest. I don't know how much I weighed at this point, but in this picture I'm actually wearing like a bra. So because I don't want this to be sexual, I mean, if people, and to be honest, like, people get off from the weirdest stuff, and if you do get off, good for you, but like, this is not intended to be this way. I kind of censored this picture. So if you're wondering why is it censored, why does it look so odd, it just basically, that was a bra, the other one is sports bra. It's also kind of a little bit see-through, so that's why I censored it. The same with my underwear. Again, don't want this to be coming across in a sexual way, but as I said, like, who cares? But that's why I censored it, right? So just for you to be quite completely transparent. But this is kind of like a picture I haven't posted before because quite frankly I was embarrassed. Like, when I saw this picture, like, I was embarrassed. I was basically crying because this was my heaviest, and I actually assumed that when I started my journey, I was even heavier than this. But this was the last time I actually really took a picture of me in underwear, where I was like really crying by the way that I looked. Now, yeah, I'm going to show all of those pictures, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to catch you in the next section, where I'm just going to talk a little bit more about my experience and what's going to happen in the future. Enjoy. Guys, this section is just going to talk about my weight loss process, some advice I'm giving, something that I should have done maybe differently, but some recommendation. I hope you find this useful. So this is in no particular order. I just recorded this like several times. Every time I'm like, hey, there's something new, there's something else as well. So I'm just gonna go through 10 things that helped me during my weight loss journey. And I think those are good tips. They're not gonna be like drink more water, eat more fiber. I mean, no. They're gonna be like, because I think that most people that are losing weight know what to do. I think that people generally like know, okay, oh no, I shouldn't be eating like 5 kilos of chocolate. Like, I think most people know that, right? I think some people overestimate like underestimate, sorry, how little calories certain items have. But I think like you have, I mean, most people have a good understanding about nutrition. I know that a lot of times media is showing like, oh no, look at how dumb people are. But I think that most, especially people that have been on diet, have been dieting their whole life, like myself, we know what food is bad. We know what food is good. So I'm not gonna give it like, oh, eat this food or drink this or like. First of all, I'm not a nutritionist. Second of all, I think like you can Google this, to be honest. So those are my recommendations. No, you might not agree with them. That's perfectly fine. But these are the things that have helped me. So let's just start this off with my first tip, and that would be plan your meals ahead of time. Or alternatively, use a meal subscription service. So what I mean with plan your meals ahead of time is that don't just buy random items when you go to the supermarket. Don't just be like, every day I'm going to the supermarket and buy whatever I like, because even though you have good intentions to buy food that are within your calorie limit, we know what happens. You're bored, you're like stressed, you'd be like, oh, now I need to think about what I want to cook. So you're like, oh, what looks appealing? And like, especially if you haven't eaten, because sometimes you come from work, you're really hungry, and you're like, oh, I don't know. You come from work, you're really hungry, and you're like, oh, I don't know what to buy. Like, oh, Joe, what looks good now? It's like, ooh, this ice cream also looks pretty good. Ooh, this I don't know, like cheesecakes look really good as well. We all been there. And then you'd be like, oh, I can actually buy. Actually, you know what? Let's have a bottle of wine tonight as well. And then you buy like items for one day that is the same as for the value of what you would usually spend a week. And the next day you have to do shopping. You're like all over again. So my tip is to maybe just spend 30 minutes. It's not going to take a long time. People overestimate how long meal planning takes. It doesn't take that long, because basically, gonna come to the second point now, but basically once you have a set meal plan, you can play around a bit, like which items you like, which items you don't like. You have your meal plan. You don't need to do a lot of variations. You can maybe swap around the days when you're gonna have which meal, but once you have food that you like, once you know the calorie that you want, you have to plan. Like, you don't have to play around the whole time with this. You don't have to have new items every week. You can sometimes add a new item, but like, you don't constantly have to have a completely new food plan for every week. Like, you can just have the standard food plan, maybe have a little bit of variety, like when you want to have it. Maybe you can add one or two new items in a random week, but like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If something works, it works. And if you be like, I still don't have the time, I don't have the self-control, like I'm too impulsive, another top tip I would have is to get yourself a meal subscription service if you can afford this. So you can have meals delivered to you every week, and you can even set to yourself like a calorie limit, how much you want to eat. Now, if you do that though, there's the risk that you might need to go to the supermarket because you're missing one or two items. So like, oh, I don't have water, I need to go to the supermarket. And then you can be like, you know what? Actually, I have a look at some other items as well. So, and then you buy rubbish again. So my tip would be, if you do go for the meal subscription option, just make sure that you have all your condiments, you have all your items that you need on a regular basis, like water, cleaning stuff like that. You have it in storage, so you don't need to run to the supermarket to maybe buy like a bottle of water. That you have this that you have it in stock, and that you don't have to have any unexpected visits to the grocery store, right? So planning would be my number one advice. Now, number two advice would be, get used to a routine, get used to repetition. Like, that kind of adds to the first point, where I'd be like, most weeks you're gonna eat the same food. Like if you look back at my videos, please do. You can see that a lot of times my meal plans almost look identical, and you'd be like, "Is this the same week?" Because she's eating the same food, and that's intentional because like a lot of times, if something works, why change? Why do something different? Like a lot of times you will have the same meals, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And I also think it's very beneficial to have meals at a set time because you get used to it. It kind of builds to the repetition. You get used to having meals at a certain time. You get used to having the same meals, but that's okay because, like, first of all, it's less stressful, and second of all, you kind of get used to it. Like we humans, we used to routine. Like even when you wake up, if you notice, if you ever watch yourself waking up, you usually do the same thing every morning because we're creatures. Like we're used to our routine. Like the same with my cats, they usually want to be fed at a certain time. Same with humans, they usually have a routine, and you can actually train yourself to follow a new routine. This comes to my third point, which is be like build habits. Build habits, like build habits of eating at a certain time, build habits of doing exercise at a certain time. Like have yourself like a certain time when you do exercise. Have yourself a certain time when you eat, because it builds habits. And in the beginning, it's going to be challenging because you're going to find excuses. But if you stick through it and you be like, okay, this is the time I'm going to eat. This is the time I'm going to do exercise. Now, with exercise, sometimes I'm not the best example here, but like if you have a certain time and a certain date when you do something, it's easier to get used to it. So that would be my third tip, build habits. The fourth tip would be to get yourself distracted, especially in the beginning. Like I know in the beginning when my partner was like, we wanted to do this together, but well, it didn't work out this way. So my partner, they were like still eating normally, and a lot of times they ordered in food from McDonald's and stuff like that, and it was pretty tempting for me to kind of like also eat some of the food. But like I was like, Lisa, you need to get distracted because you're not eating because you're hungry. You're eating because you're bored. And a lot of times, like I would be one of the persons that would eat here and there, like would have a snack here, would have a snack there, would be in the kitchen, eat there. And every time I was hungry, I would just get myself distracted. I would either be like, okay, I'm going to work, I'm going to play a video game, I'm going to go for a walk, just something that doesn't involve the food. And just get used to like whatever there's something that I was tempted, I would just get distracted. Like I would just distract myself, like either listen to music, take a shower, just do something that doesn't involve food. That would be my fourth tip. My fifth tip would be don't have trigger food in your house. I know a lot of times you will be sharing your space with somebody else and they will have food in the house that triggers you. I would say ask your person that you live with to keep the food somewhere where you don't know. Maybe hide it in a cupboard, hide it somewhere in the bedroom, but don't have it in your sight. Don't buy food. Don't be like, oh yeah, you know what? Let me buy some food because I can control myself. You can't. It's just because you know how this is really, really harsh now, but like most of us wouldn't be as fat if we have any self-control, right? And self-control is bullshit. Like I know, like when I was like I've been like doing this now for 5 months, and on the 24th and the 25th, as I said, I well on the 24th actually, I was eating whatever I want, and I was having a Kinder Bueno, and guess what? Even though like I've been doing this for 5 months, I wanted to have more. And I was happy that I only bought one because could have eaten like if you put a box in front of me, like those 6-pack boxes, I would have eaten them. I would have probably eaten a 12-box pack. Even like that's what I mean. Like certain foods trigger you. Like the same with donuts. I know like we had some donuts on the 27th. I knew that if I would have bought myself a box of 6, I would have eaten all of them. That's why I only bought one. Because there's certain food that triggers you. So I'd be like, don't have that food in the house. Don't have it. Don't. Why do you want to put yourself in a position? Why do you want to put yourself in this position? Like I say, like, don't just have this food in your house. That's, yeah. Number 6 would be find low calorie alternatives. That's a very good tip. Now, it's kind of controversial again because some people are like, hey, I just cut your portion size to half. But here's my question. If I'm used to eating, I don't know, 200 grams of pasta, how can I all of a sudden be like, yeah, I'm fine with 50 grams? No, I'm not. I'm still hungry. Because I'm expecting 200 grams. Like, if I'm expecting 200 grams, like, I'm not going to be happy with 50 grams. Like, some people might be like, but I'm like, I'm expecting more food. Like, where's more food? So I think having like those low calorie options are a very good idea. Like, I got myself low calorie pasta. Now, sometimes it got me some stomach problems, but like, let's say for instance, you can have zucchini pasta instead. Or let's say for instance, instead of ketchup, you can have low calorie ketchup. Or let's say for instance, I know, controversial opinion again, instead of having like sugar drinks, you can have the low calorie options. Just replace the stuff that has high calories with low calorie options. Because like, I feel like if you can save the calories, why not save the calories? Like, I like my sweets, so I went for like low calorie sweets. Like, instead of having donuts, I'm going to have the low calorie donuts. Now, do they taste the same? No, they don't. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, they taste exactly the same. No, they don't. But somewhere you need to make a sacrifice. So my advice would be, get yourself a low calorie substitute. The seventh point would be, don't drink your calories. And I'm going to talk from my experience. So when I started off the journey, we were like, oh, I'm gonna have some protein shakes, and I bought them in bulk because I was like, this is gonna be a great idea. I'm having those protein shakes, and like, had one of them and was like, I'm really hungry. Yeah, don't fill you up at all. They're just basically like a milkshake. That's all they are. And like, my partner then also be like, yeah, I'm going to get myself like protein shakes. And I was like, I'm gonna join you, but like, don't you want to rather eat this calorie? Because you can eat those calories and actually have something in your mouth instead of drinking them. Because I'm gonna be honest, like, it's exactly like drinking a milkshake. It doesn't fill you up. Like, if I'm drinking one of those protein shakes, I'm hungry again. After like 10 minutes, I just see them like a nice sweet drink. They're not bad tasting, but they don't fill you up at all. So be smart about your calories. So instead of maybe drinking like a protein shake, which doesn't fill you up, why don't you just get yourself like, I don't know, cold meats? Go and get yourself some turkey breast. Get yourself some tuna. Get yourself some, I don't know, like smoked beef, like some low calorie meats. Instead of just drinking those calories. Um, Also, number 8 would be, controversial opinion, don't have cheat days. Most of us don't need them. And I'm not saying like, oh, if you have special occasions to not enjoy yourself. Like, I'm talking about this in the next section. I'm going to enjoy myself on some of the days. But what I mean with cheat days is those regulars. I'm going to have one day a week where I'm just going to eat whatever I want. Most of us are not bodybuilders. And I think this is more intended for people that are bodybuilders that know how to cut and then know how to like refeed and stuff like that. But most of us, we are not The Rock. We don't have to have those cheat days. We don't have to consume 12,000 calories a day. It's fine. It's good. And the only thing that actually will happen is like, if you're a person like myself that is prone to binging, I tell you exactly what happens, because it happens all the time. You have your calorie limit, which you do well, but then your brain is like, hold on, why don't I reduce my calorie amount even further? Because that will allow me to eat even more on my day where I can eat whatever I want. And then what will happen? What will happen is like, maybe you intended to consume like 4,000 calories or 3,000 calories, I don't know. You have those 4,000 calories initially, but then you'd be like, I can have 6,000 calories. I don't know. But then you feel so guilty because you ate so much that you'd be like, you know what, F it, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. So in my opinion, I think most people do not need cheat days. I know cheat days are very popular. I know many people do it. But I think that if you know someone who doesn't lose weight, or if you're one of them, you'd be like, I'm keeping my weight, but I'm not losing it. Maybe get rid of the cheat day. Number 9 would be the small things count. Which, I mean, take your measurements on a weekly basis. I know like a lot of people are like, when they jump on the scale, they don't see the process. And they'll be like discouraged, or even see that the weight is going up. And sometimes what helps is if you really take your measurements every week. Take your measurements every week and weigh yourself once a month. Because it's the small things that count. And even if you see like, hey, I'm losing like, I don't know, a few centimeters, that is already encouraging. Or you see like, hey, the jeans, it's better fitting than previously. That's encouraging. So try to have those celebrate those small victories. But number 10 would be to get yourself support. Get yourself a motivation buddy. Share your journey. Be transparent. I know this kind of links to point number 9, but it's very important to have someone to share your journey with. Get motivation. Go to an online forum. There are places like Reddit. There are places like Facebook. But have somebody you can talk to. Like I decided to record my journey for YouTube, and this has been so helpful. Now, because I had somebody I can share my journey with. Now, like my videos don't have good views, but it was so helpful to just be like, I can share my journey with somebody. I have somebody I can hold accountable. I can help it. Somebody is holding me accountable. Like, and even if you like share your journey like with a group, like maybe posting it on Reddit, maybe I don't know, like getting yourself like a friend of yours that you can share your journey together. But you need to have somebody that you know will hold you accountable. Don't have somebody be like that encourages you, be like, oh yeah, it's fine if you off track. So I think it's best to maybe just get yourself a random person that you don't know, because like if you can manipulate them into be like, oh yeah, it's fine if you don't follow this diet and stuff like that. Like my partner, they want me to be their accountability buddy, but I'm like, I'm not gonna be the best buddy, because like, you know, you can manipulate me into being like, yeah, it's fine. And like you need somebody that is like, I don't know, like a personal trainer, like maybe a random person on the internet, maybe like a YouTube channel where you can just share your journey and you kind of are accountable and transparent and you can share your process with.
Guys, you might wonder why we're in a different setting. Basically, you're in my laundry room because this wasn't expected to happen. Okay, so, and actually this is tip number 11, which means you're going to mess up. You're going to do something stupid. And story time, reason why we're in my laundry room, is that I had the original video uploaded at around 4 p.m. Now, as I showed in my previous days, I actually had kind of like an unexpected day on the 27th where I was over my calories limit. Now, because I was having this day, I felt really guilty about this. So instead of being like, hey, you know what, let's go back on track, let's follow the plan that you've done very well in the past, and just stick to 1,200 calories until the 30th, I was like, no, you know what, Lisa, you need to do more. You need to make up for this. So I decided to have this brilliant idea and go on a water fast. Now, you all might know how this is going to end. So on the first day, it went all well, but the second day, I was done with my video. I'd done the stuff to distract me, but like I had nothing to do. I was really, really, really hungry. I uploaded the video already at 4 p.m. and I had nothing to do. So at 5 p.m., I was so hungry that I was like, okay, well, is this something I can maybe eat? So I had like a Kellogg's bar. And even though the Kellogg's bar was only 99 calories, and at this time I could have just been like, you know what, Lisa, let's just have a 1,200 calorie day. And let's just go to the supermarket, get yourself a nice steak, have some low calorie noodles, and like just eat that. And maybe just get some like cold meats and stuff like that. You're still gonna be within your calorie limit. My brain had this thinking of good or bad. Like either you do it excellent or you do it terribly. And because of my mind, I didn't stick to the water fast. I was like, you know what? F it, I'm just gonna have whatever I want. And this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, that have like myself, like issues with eating and issues with binging, is that they have this idea of like, either I'm doing great or I'm not doing great. And if I'm not doing great, I might as well just go all out. So my advice is to be aware you're gonna mess up. And I know it's easier said than done, because like I'm talking to you right now and I can acknowledge in hindsight how stupid that is, to not just have stuck to the 1,200 calories, but at times you're gonna make them mess up. It happens to the best of us. And then the best thing is to acknowledge, find out why you did this, and know how to do better the next time. But you're going to mess up. Gonna be honest, you're going to mess up, and I will keep messing up. Like weight loss isn't like a straight line that just be like, hey, you're just gonna do brilliant all the time. You're not. You're not going to do brilliant. You can do like myself. You can do brilliant for 5 months, and then the last week can be complete shit. But then it's just be like, think about, as I said in step number 9. Think about your accomplishment. Acknowledge what you have achieved so far. Remind yourself of what you have achieved, and just go get back on the bike, and just keep going. And do the things that have made you successful in the past. A lot of times, like when you look at companies that like fail, is that they forget what have made them successful in the first place. If you know what have made you successful in the first place, don't try to get those quick fix to resolve your issue. No, go back to what have made you successful in the first place. If a plan has worked for you in the first place, and let's say you're off track, maybe let's say something didn't happen that you didn't expect, don't just be like, yeah, well, effort, or like, don't just have like unrealistic expectations the next time. Just be like, you know what, we messed up this time, but we're just going to continue our path that we had in the past, because that plan worked for us. So that's just my final 11th tip. I always give you more than you expect, so please like and subscribe. And as I said, I wanted to share this because I didn't want to upload the video in the original form where I would have not acknowledged this, because I want to be transparent and I want to practice what I preach, so that's why I wanted to update this. So yeah, but the next section will cover about what I'm going to do after the 5 months, because I think you guys probably are curious. So let's find out.
So guys, this is the last section, and actually probably the most important section, because what now? So we stuck to it for 5 months. Are we just gonna go back to the old ways? Are we just gonna eat whatever we want? Because so many people do that. Like, they're very good with their diet, they lose weight, and then after they achieve the target weight, or after they're like have done a weight loss program for like a certain amount of time, they just go back to the old habits and add weight, if not even more. And I'm not gonna lie, like, this is one of the major concerns that I had. Like, a lot of times it'd be like, okay, Lisa, what now? What are we gonna do after the 5 months? Because this is the questions everyone's minds. Like, do we really want to go back to our old ways? Because if that's the case, this whole thing has been for nothing, right? So basically, I have a plan. Guys, which I want to share with you guys, because I like transparency, and also it helps me, as I said, to be accountable for what I said. So from the 30th of December up until the 20th of January, I'm going to eat whatever I want. This is my holiday. I don't care about calories during this time. Then, from the 20th of January onwards, I'm going to be on 1,200 calories for most of the time. Now, there's going to be a few days which I'm going to finalize later. There are going to be a few exceptions where I'm not going to be on 1,200 calories, but there are going to be very few ones. From the 20th of January up until I reach my target weight of 62 kilos, I'm going to be on 1,200 calories, besides a few exceptions. Now, after that, after I achieved my target weight of 62 kilos, I'm going to go increase my calorie amount every week. Because I know that 1,200 calories is too little. So my calorie allowance that I need to maintain my weight would be approximately 2,000 calories. So I'm going to go up my calories every week by 100 calories. Because I was thinking about basically just jumping from 1,200 to 2,000 calories, but the fear that I had would be that I would be guilty that I'm all of a sudden consuming so many more calories, and I would be getting into the habit of actually eating way more, because I'm like, this is how my brain works. Like, I would be guilty of eating too many calories, and then I would be like, okay, do I need to make a sacrifice here? And then I would be like just weighing myself every day, because I'll be like, oh no, and now all of a sudden my weight is going up again. So instead of just doing that, I'm slowly increasing my calories. So every week I'm going to increase my calories by 100 calories, also to get used to new calories. In October I'm going to get married. Probably I'm going to be done with that beforehand, but that's the time that I give myself to achieve that. Yeah, and if I'm going to be like maybe 65, 66 kilos, that's perfectly fine as well. I don't know how much I weigh at the moment, and I'm not going to weigh myself before I'm going on holiday, because, right, I'm probably going to weigh more once I'm back. And it's just going to fool myself and to be like, oh yeah, that's my starting weight. It's not going to be my starting weight. My starting weight's going to be probably going to be more. So I want to weigh myself once I'm back, but I'm not going to weigh myself every week. So what will happen is that I'm going to upload a video every month where I'm just going to recap every week. But every week I'm going to just show myself week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, like before and after pictures as we did before. Going to share my measurements as well. But then I'm just going to have my starting weight when the month starts and my starting weight when the month ends. You guys have a great day, great 2023. Looking forward to seeing you guys. Maybe I'm going to do some travel vlogs, because I haven't told you where I'm going to. So maybe I'm just going to show some food there, some countrysides, some beaches, maybe, if I'm going to a place that has a beach. Let's see. Maybe going to do some other stuff as well. Like, as I said, yeah, let's see what 2023 holds in store. Have a great day. Bye-bye.